Yeah, so sometimes it's nice, it's the only time by yourself, because you're at work or you're at home.
Yeah, so it gives me a little bit of time to get ready for
Yeah, for whatever they're gonna
my
throw at you.
13-year-old.
Nice.
Yeah.
Until you bring your kid to Mapleton and then
say.
they're
Yeah,
that
that's
time.
gracious.
And then that commute's not quite what it used to be.
Yeah. She has already asked me, why can't I come to school with you?
She can.
Oh.
She can, but
You might wanna get your,
Earplugs.
yeah, have your time
she's a
first.
talker, yeah.
We can set boundaries, but let's
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah. Any questions or?
Yeah. No
It's nice to see a face that goes with the emails.
Yes.
And then,
Welcome.
Well, thank you,
To the center of the universe. That's
Come
what
by
we think.
anytime,
Yeah,
come see us.
all right.
and I let Sarah know executive session, she's doing, duty.
Football and volleyball.
Yeah, football and volleyball duty, but I let her know we'd,
Start.
send something
Yeah.
over when that starts
Okay.
and
That'll
come over. She
help.
has like a need to go home by this time kind of thing, but I invited her over to come join us for
Yeah.
that. For
What's
if
the
it
need to
works
go
out,
home time
so.
by?
To have enough time to see my family a little bit if I can get out of here around 7:30.
Okay, that gives us a guide.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
And you get to do the honors because we just met, but that's Kay, and I'm really excited to hear this.
Oh, I'm excited, thank you.
Yeah, so this is Kate, I don't know how to say her last name.
Fishay.
Fishay?
I gotta see her sometime.
Fishay. So she.
It's like Chevrolet without the T on the end.
Got it.
Oh.
Okay.
So we have offered her Randy's position. She'll be starting that, start in November. Randy will continue and advisory and helping and being around and stuff for the rest of the school year, but, we'll get her going on it, so. And you can,
Oh, I can talk now? Thanks for the heads up. Okay, so I grew up in New Creek, so I'm a local.
Oh,
I
wait a second, Fachet like the,
like Scotty's daughter.
yeah, okay, hello.
This is why I love rural in Mapleton, cause like,
Yeah.
y'all just sat here.
All
Yeah,
four
sure,
of us
someone new.
literally live up the river, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so
I mean,
fun.
I grew
She
up-
came and asked me to give her dirt on Jesse,
Yeah.
I grew up, 6 miles away from the Mill Road Homestead.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I'm 12 miles up in New Creek is where I grew up. And, Dad, of course, had me driving a log truck really early and whatnot. I went on to do a whole bunch of other things. Tried my hand at college, got really bored really fast. Did foster children for a while, drove long haul, drove various other big rigs, worked in security for a while, armed security, all the fun stuff. Came back here in 2004 and took over my grandparents' homestead in Florence in 2016. So I've lived and been based in Florence since then. And I started at Saisla as a bus driver in 2015. And after it was 7 years as a bus driver, I moved to a different position where it was a transportation coordinator and the behind the wheel driver trainer. So training people to get their Class B CDLs because I hold a Class A. So been doing that. That's a lot of fun. Not gonna lie, that is a lot of fun. But I was not feeling like that was like my forever home. It was a job and a job I enjoyed. And I absolutely love my coworkers, don't get me wrong. I got several dirty looks when I told them I was leaving. I got a few things thrown at me. But I was looking for something that was a little more my speed, my style, my comfort zone, whatnot. And Randy had been poking at me ever since I started training a couple of his drivers. And he was like, so what'd you think, what'd you think, what'd you think? And I'm like, Randy, But the more he talked about it, the more I thought about it, and, I figured, yeah, why not, you know, like, that actually sounds challenging, it sounds fun, I know the area, I know most of the people, even if it's not super recent, sure, why not? So,
Here she is.
now I'm here.
Hey, welcome back. That's awesome, that's exciting.
Yeah, walking through here, I'm like, hey, I remember Mr. Hale's room, I remember this, you know, I remember all this, Hale's Rail.
Oh, goddess, what year did you graduate?
2000, not from here,
Right.
cause I was living with my grandparents last couple of years of my high school, so I
Okay.
graduated from Siuslaw. But, yeah, spent my early years here,
Stop and reference.
yes, yeah, coming over the hill for, you know, art and stuff over here, and, yeah, there's a lot of,
She already knows the
Look,
lingo,
fun.
so.
Yeah, I know.
Wonderful, wow, all right.
yeah.
Welcome,
Welcome.
yeah, it's good to have you here, we're excited. I know Randy, Randy's gonna show you the ropes, he knows every nook and cranny on his place for sure. But you
Yeah.
probably have some just natural inclination, it sounds like.
I remember where a lot of things are, as far as layout wise and whatnot, and there's definitely been some changes, but not as many as I was expecting.
We don't have the
So-
boiler anymore.
Oh,
Remember the boiler?
yes,
Yeah.
I do. I remember Miss Pulsinelli having some issues with that boiler too.
Oh, you remember her?
Yes.
Wow, this is fun.
Yeah.
And Melinda Montgomery, I actually like saw a picture of her the other day and I was just like, wow, that was a long time ago. I'm old now.
Oh my, alright, this is exciting.
Thanks for everyone
Yeah,
coming aboard.
All right.
Alright, later.
Jump in and definitely don't feel like you have to stay forever, and definitely feel free to
Stay as
make
long
yourself at home. Yeah.
And,
Well,
if everyone's cool, just because I think it would be nice if Sarah was a part, I'll try to push us through, so
Yeah,
we can, like,
Yeah.
try to have her over around 7 or something, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Great.
Do a couple report things. We had homecoming, successful homecoming. All my days are running together, but
Last weekend.
last
Well,
week.
Friday night,
Friday night and Saturday,
the
yep.
game and then
Yeah,
Saturday.
and Ramil and Avery are our homecoming king and queen, and yeah, just a nice it was fun to see families and community out there together doing Friday night football homecoming things, and we talked last time, the goal for football this year is to have a season, and if you look at the score only, it's not fun, and it doesn't paint the picture, but even watching the boys where they're at this game, they look like they know the game versus at the beginning of the year, the scores were the same, and it was like, what's going on out there kind of thing,
What happened to
so.
the banding rule?
We say it again,
What happened to the banding rule?
say more.
Well, there used to
Score.
be a rule that like, I think got 50 and that was
Oh,
like
and you
it.
call the game?
Yeah.
I don't know the history of that, I can ask,
It's
there
like
is
a
a- there's a-
humane kind of approach.
Or a lot of times if they
Running-
continue, you just turn it off.
Yeah, that's more.
You know, you turn off the score, it
At a
just
certain
stops,
point.
yeah.
Yeah, running clock comes into effect at some point in there, and I know that we do, it still stops at changes of possession or something, it's like, it runs, but not entirely, which, either way. But the cool thing is like, the boys are feeling together, like you don't feel like a letdown about it, it's like, no, that's not our focus, getting better is, and we had a meeting with them, I think last time Sharon was whispering to me like, I think we might be canceling the season, and I was like, no, Carrie says it's good, and we had a moment there, and we pulled all the kids back together and said like, this matters, and accountability, you signed up for something, let's do this, and we actually had kids who hadn't been out there in a couple weeks step up and come back, and have been kicking butt out there, and it's been a reset in a really positive way. If you don't look at the scoreboard. And then volleyball, chipping away had pink out, that has a name. They dressed in pink yesterday. And then senior night will be Tuesday next week. And middle school volleyball is playing right now and won the first game 25-23 against LC.
Wow.
I ran through real
Great.
quick and, yeah, I just, our first game, set? Game, set. That's what I keep trying to say.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then, middle school football is out there playing right now, as well, so. What else? We hosted the, Imagine Your Dream Mapleton a couple, weeks ago, but then today, and I think we talked about that some at the retreat, so I won't totally refresh that, but, today was the extension of that. Ramil is doing this for his senior project and hosted all high schoolers in the Commons. And this is my first time in 4 years that we tried to like do a large scale thing in the Commons, and they all fit and like we're all focused and doing stuff. I walked in and was like, oh, this is a little bigger than I give it credit for. So it was kind of fun, but every high schooler was in there really engaged in giving feedback and creatively expressing the Mapleton that they want. So I was in and out, I had a couple meetings, but the feedback I got so far is that it went really well, and I'll get more details.
Was RDI there for that?
No, so the cool part is RDI launched the first one, and then the kids are leading it based on that. So they got to like they facilitated that today without RDI, but the information's getting collected and sent to RDI
Okay.
to synthesize with the other community stuff, and it'll be included in the follow-up meeting on the 24th.
Okay,
If the 24th is a Friday, it's on the 24th.
yeah, that was my follow-up, like if they weren't here, how are they getting the
Yeah.
info?
That's part of the facilitation is that it's getting documented and sent over, so they've been working together on that. So exciting to see what will come from those activities. We had our professional development first PLC day, so I think I told you guys the 5 districts, rural districts. We had the launch at the beginning of the year. We had our first PLC session where science teachers are together, math teachers. Secondary has the breakout sessions, and then all elementary and all EAs are together. And some really strong feedback from the participants in that across all 5 districts, and just pictures and all the things that they've been doing a really good job collecting and telling the story and being responsive to the feedback that comes in from participants. So still super excited about that. And we're gonna talk about some of the harder stuff later, but similar to other years, the beginning of year for very high needs kids takes a transition time. And the cool thing, I was over at elementary multiple times this week, but I spent a long time over there today, and it was calm, like really calm, like to the point, like at some point you start naming that, and then people say it, and you watch them knock on wood, because the second you say it, then something happens. But we're getting closer to calm more often, which is a good feeling. So I feel like each year that week 6 is like, and then that's kind of the peak, and then you start to get through there. So we'll talk more about things later. So trying to think anything else. I'll stop there. So keep us moving.
Sharon.
I hired somebody.
Good job.
Might drop
Did you do
that.
that?
Next agenda
If
item.
I say so myself.
Yeah, you did a great
Okay,
job.
well, I know, I mean, if anyone has questions, you know, you can ask me at a later time. And then, the consent agenda,
So moved.
anyone want a second approving that?
Yeah.
All those in favor? Getting the, I like that Michelle's keeping the drift going here. Okay. Action items. transit dollar request form, but these are all, okay, so we can go through that one, cause the other ones are the reads, okay. What's that?
We have to, I'm guessing it's just that, no, I don't know, we filled it out before, but we have spare money with LESD, they get money for us to buy services from them. And if we don't use it all, then they give it to us, so this is just approving them to give us,
That's
So
been
it's
going
just for
on
you to
for-
request the money that we
Yeah.
didn't use, okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
We've had that a while.
yeah, we've always done it, we haven't always brought it to the board, but I was in a
Oh.
meeting where they handed out the numbers and
Oh.
said, don't forget to get that approved by your board, and about 6 of us looked at each other and said,
Oh,
do you do that?
say what?
And others were like, you're supposed to, and so now we're doing it,
Okay.
so.
Great. Okay,
What is the number?
that's, yeah, good question, that was mine.
Yeah, Jared.
No,
Man, it's so good.
He hired somebody this week, you can't ask him.
really know numbers.
I had to sit in interviews and stuff, I had to be a people person, come on.
One of the numbers that were in your head this week.
I'm sorry I asked.
I wanna
We
say
stretched Jared far this week.
62,000?
I'll take it.
Oh, that was,
Okay.
yeah, that was bigger than I thought it would be, I thought it would be one less digit, so that's cool. Yep.
That's around what we usually get, I feel like, from them, if we're not buying
Mhm.
life skills fee or something, so.
Right. Okay. Anyone wanna, move to approve that?
I move that we approve 7.1, transit dollar request form.
And second.
All those in favor? So we'll do the personnel resignations, Jessica, what is that?
Ridelli.
Ridelli, okay. And then the hiring of SJ? Perfect.
So moved.
We do,
Yeah.
we should do separately.
Okay, so we'll
Yeah.
do the resignation first?
Yeah.
Yes, I move that we accept the resignation of Jessica Ridelli.
And second.
All those in favor? And someone move to hire Kay?
So moved.
I will second. I'll just do the second for this
Okay,
guy.
all those in favor?
It's official.
You're in.
Yay.
Woo.
Yes, welcome home.
Okay, Division 22.
Real quick, just on, because we have a resignation, obviously we have shifting of things, we are doing those shifts in-house, so that's why you're not seeing new names there. I just got a yes from somebody, so now we're starting to, and a tentative start date. When I say in-house, one of them's a coach and doesn't work during the day, and so, that's why we don't have to put them on here, that's what I was whispering to Jaren, but, now I have a tentative start date and we'll map that transition plan and we'll make sure the names are public in the next, well, we can share names, make sure you guys know them, but we don't actually have to approve them because they're already hired
Okay.
in the district, so. Alright.
I also have to say, Kay, I mean, it's awesome that you're local, we all know, or we know your family or whatever, but your letters of recommendation in your application were very stand out and stellar, so obviously, you've
I
done
promise
amazing
they shocked
things.
the heck out of me.
Like, you've obviously
I'm sure
been
they were
doing
well deserved,
amazing
no.
things with your career and all of that, and your journey back here, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to
Yeah.
also acknowledge that, I think we all got super excited that it's like, oh, you're an Indian Creeker and you're a local and you've been here, but also you're like
Yeah,
super
the
qualified,
perfect-
like
perfect.
super duper qualified.
Yeah, I
to
do
come
not
with-
think that I was hired just because I was local.
Yeah, I just wanted to
No.
like acknowledge that in
And-
front of.
Thank you.
I
And your
didn't know
name
that.
starts with K, which is like, what, 70% of our staff?
Yeah,
So,
it's just like,
we have another
Yeah,
K,
Carly.
just so you know,
Yeah.
so 2 Ks, if you go
Yeah,
through it,
lots of
especially on
them.
the elementary side, literally everybody's name starts with a C or K sound, and, when I heard they hired you, I was like, of course.
It's
So-
We're on a roll.
Yep, so, alright, Division 22, we're gonna do this, the fast version, just by looking straight at the form, instead of doing all the extra slides about the reason for it, cause we've done this every year since I've been here, and before that. So, Going through, the fun thing I get to report is we are technically in compliance for everything now.
Yay!
This is the report for 24-25, looking back to last year, and there were things that we were working through to get into compliance, so, in those cases, just putting here, implementing approved correction action, and then now board has approved this comprehensive health education plan that includes these components, right? And so, that's the same for the substance use one, it's a different one down below that we'll see. Either my glasses are dirty or I'm going blind. Okay, so, the state adopted instructional materials adoption, we're on a long-term plan for that, and that's the only one, and we're actually almost finished with that. We're doing a pilot for elementary math this year, and that's the last thing on our corrective plan. So when I say we're technically in compliance for everything, that one can go on multiple years because they approved it over multiple years. So we're almost done with it anyway, but we still have to adopt math. And then what was the other one? The state testing, so we're marked as out of compliance, but then I noted we worked with ODE towards an agreement for a parent choice communication plan, approved in summer of 25, and we're technically in compliance now. So, I think the one more was just the substance use and prevention plan, which is embedded in that health education plan. We didn't have much on the family education around child abuse and reporting of child abuse, and we've upped our resources for that and included those in on the website and I think in the health plan too, if I recall. So we've done all our things. That long list that started at like 12 or 15 or something my first year is down to 0. And I did not go nitpick these this year because I need a break from Division 22. So full disclosure, next year I'll go through fine tooth comb again and see where there's spots and hope, and if I'm all for using this as continuous improvement, I just want to celebrate for a second that I don't want to work on that for a while. So
Good work done.
Yay. So there's our, and then requirement is board presentation and approval, and then this along with a slide deck that I have in here, I just was trying to save time from those extra slides, will get posted on the website, and then we sign a couple assurances in that submission, and then that's where this is going.
I move that we approve the 2022-24-25 report.
I second.
All those in favor? Okay. Second reads. I don't know where I sat down, because they're probably gonna be up there.
So, what do we got? Advisory committees to the board, BCF we saw. Saw that one last time. That one was fairly simple. Any questions on that one?
No, it's no questions on that one.
CEA, the Educational Equity Advisory Committee.
That was the one about making it, report to the superintendent instead of the board.
Yeah.
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 So. The budget committee, that was just that one of the, if I remember right, one of the people needs to be from the equity committee. Yeah, there's one member from that. The education records, this just has to, I think this one just has to do with the change to the directory information for students, the private students, so. I'm gonna skip these ones and go to the JOA, which was the directory information, just cutting out what we can, things that can be
Yep.
given. So then the IIA's instructional materials, has the instructional materials reconsideration committee stuff in there. I was starting to go through the ARs for it. The first one is like definitions. 2, 3, 4, and 5 are pretty similar. They just, mainly that their title is instructional materials versus supplementary instructional materials versus library materials. And I'm thinking I could whittle them down and really just have one, the AR2. If I change, the one of them lists and says, if you got a problem with this, then you can use this AR. And so I can just list the same AR for all of them, just have it be materials or something instead of having, because each one says, you'll have a reconsideration committee that's composed of all these people, and this is what it's gonna do, and they're all basically the same. And so,
They're all instructional materials except library, so if it was like
Yeah.
instructional materials and classroom and school libraries materials or something.
So,
Oh, okay.
so I'm gonna, and so I don't know if you wanna wait to approve those ones until next time, once I come up with a little more
Consolidated, yeah,
stuff.
perfect.
And then the final one, the AR6 is just the form that people submit for it and stuff, so I'll work on.
She'll bring back the instructional materials ones,
Yeah.
okay. Someone wanna move on the rest?
Yeah, so I move we approve 7.4.1 through 7.4.4, and then also 7.4.12.
Perfect.
Right, okay, now I second that.
All those in favor? Okay. Okay, so, I'm gonna go to 8.2 really fast. Did anyone do their homework, cause I didn't?
I didn't.
Okay,
I did.
nice
Yeah,
job.
good
Just-
job.
I saw your email and
Yeah,
I
come
partly
on
did.
now.
I did mine.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have requests out and I have, yes from Christina for library, like the library representative.
oh yeah, cause you're getting a school person.
Yep,
Okay.
and then,
Okay, so you have Christina.
I didn't hear back from my second person yet, so.
Do you get two people?
I need a teacher,
Oh,
a teacher, a librarian, and a student.
okay, so you got the
I sent
librarian.
Courtney the information, but I promise she hasn't had time to read
So
it.
I'm pretty sure the student has to be chosen by the
By the
student
council,
Yeah.
yeah, so they'll go through, but I sent it to Courtney to say, here's a decision.
Yeah.
And then 5 members at large, I got my person,
Nice job. Who's your person?
Andrea, who's the one.
Okay.
Great.
Who's your person?
Danelle Sunstreet.
Oh, that's right, you said that. I have nobody.
I have
so
nobody
if
yet.
anyone else wants, I just wrote my old last name.
Whoa.
Hazelwood is what I did, that was really weird.
Wow.
That's so weird.
Amazing.
Well, you know what, cause I wrote Andrea first and then
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Better
Ah,
Hazel
makes sense.
fit in there, but whatever. Okay, and then Danelle,
Yeah.
and
I did
then,
mine really fast because I thought Misen might ask her, so.
I would've.
Nice, way to
Right?
When I saw that you asked her, I was like, man.
If you wanna ask a second
He's just
person,
like, I'm not
I'd
doing my
totally
homework.
let you do that.
And then I know.
I don't know, like, enough people that I wanna, you know, like I know people, but they'll do things in here.
It's not a huge time commitment is what you will tell them. It's very,
It made me no time,
I
and
can
it made
send
me.
you like the email that I sent to Andrea, it was very
Yes,
like
please.
plainly laid
Sure,
out
yeah.
and just
Yes,
like.
that's a great idea.
I will do that, so you
Okay.
guys can use that as a template and just put your own here.
Okay.
I can even credit you with the one.
Okay, we kept AI and education on there. I know I'm jumping around, but I'm trying to go the fast ones first.
Mhm.
We kept it on there, I think, just cause it's gonna continue to be a talking point.
Yeah,
Did
and
anyone have anything new on it?
Yeah, so yesterday at curriculum leaders at the ESD, the topic was AI. I told you it's everywhere. So, and it was good. The instructional I used to work with them. What's his title? Instructional technology specialist at 4J, and a teacher who has embraced AI came and spoke on how they use it, and it was really nuanced and in a way that's like, here's how I'm using it, and it's improving my teaching. And one of my big takeaways. This is a high school. He teaches social studies and math, but he's using it primarily in his social studies classes, and some examples of like these ideas that I've had in my head forever that I don't have the time to create into an engaging class experience. So he's talking about like during March Madness brackets, doing that with social studies content to make it engaging. And he's like, I created something that I put off for years because it would have taken me days to do it well. It can create those kind of drafts in, he's like, really in an hour, and then I'm fine tuning those pieces. And then he had some cool things with prompts to help. Anyway, so the focus was on instruction and how these tools can help a teacher improve their instruction. And at the same time, he talked about what we were talking about of like students writing, and he was very clear. He's like, it's my job to get them thinking and writing, and the writing prompts that are generated by AI for me that are improved by, he's like, not all this is new, I've been teaching for 20 years, like, this is improving it, but, he's like, I make my kids write by hand, and he's like, am I a hypocrite? I'd love to have that conversation later, yes and no. And so, I thought it was really kind of powerful to hear a teacher who has fully embraced it professionally say, kids need to write. And kids need to be thinking in discussions and have these pieces, because that's our job. And then he shared that between last spring and this fall, there is an acute awareness by students in his classes about the positives of AI, but the negatives, and they're naming these things, and they're having really thoughtful discussions in his classes about environmental impact, coded bias inside of AI, what's real and not real everywhere, and so he was saying by him being open about the ways he's using it and engaging it and not disguising how he's using it and saying, hey, I put this in, got this feedback, this is better, these kind of things, that students are having those kind of ethics of AI conversations more and more. And he's like, they weren't naming or interested in any of that a year ago, but this year, every class, like, students are hearing this, they're taking note of it, and obviously this is high school age, but it was good presentation and conversation. A lot of administrators and quite a few teachers yesterday in the class, in the meeting, and thoughtful discussions at every table, and just kind of naming like, are we avoiding, are we trying to work in the realm of compliance, are we doing literacy? And at least at the table that I was at, we were talking through with multiple schools and districts, and had this feeling of like, usually I'm a early adopter and go and let's do all this, and I'm sitting here looking at my phone every time we talk about this, thinking like, literacy was my goal with phones, when phones were becoming the big thing, and teaching kids how to use it as a tool and how to do that, and especially over the last 3 years, really recognizing it's a tool that might be doing more harm than good, and so I don't wanna be sitting there with AI going, why didn't you learn that from the phones? And so anyway, we all kinda talked about that, and we're all grappling with it, and so at least it was thoughtful discussions, so, anyway.
I mean, I'm comforted just knowing that it's on people's minds, it's on people's tongues, it's, we're trying to get a handle on it.
Yeah.
And nobody's just yippee, we're in the promised land.
Yeah.
And that's why it's gotta stay on the agenda, if you don't mind.
No,
Because
it's
I'd like
fine
to-
then.
Well, and
Down there.
so another person who was sitting at our table works for Lane County Public Health, because there's partners at these meetings, and she the funny thing is, like, she had never used ChatGPT, so at some point I'm like, you at least wanna know how to open it, and so I was showing her how to do it, but that she's at conferences where they're sharing that something like I think she said 1 in 4, but I might be, I didn't write it down, but I think she said 1 in 4 high school age students is using an AI companion of some sort, and so for mental health care, for friendship, and even like it goes into the dating realm, and so like really naming like it's so weird to say you're dating AI, like sorry, my brain's still stuck there, but an AI bot cannot be the replacement for the connection and belonging that our kids are seeking. And so I think that drives a lot of what we do in our school. Anyway, not because AI bots exist, but because we know our kids are seeking, companionship. And so making sure that's done in healthy ways. And at the same time, we also talked about vendors who are vendors take up too much space in our emails for all sorts of things, but we're seeing a huge uptick in AI tools being shown as the next best thing, and especially, actually more so in the mental health field than the education field right now. So that was also an interesting part of the conversation.
There's so much money to be made, and when that's the driver, then
Yeah,
we,
it
the
won't be
moral
correct.
compass of the movie, have to really be
Yeah.
at work.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that at some point, like, critical consumers of technology is actually a course. I mean, we could all take it, all of us, but I just heard recently that, one thing I didn't really understand, but AI is good at telling you what you wanna hear.
Well,
So-
it gets to know you.
Yeah,
It's
so like
programmed
I
to
just
tell you.
recently had a thing happen where I questioned something and AI said, oh, you're so right to be critical, like I'm like patting myself on the back because this bot is giving me props.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's actually trained to do exactly
to
that.
exactly that, so
And you can
yes.
actually put some prompts in to say don't do that, and that was some of what he was sharing, like, or even his, this teacher, his initial prompt for every time, and he tells it, don't say, you don't need to save any of this because I'm gonna upload this every time, but he's got kind of like, here's the context of the class I teach, but at the beginning, there's a very clear statement of, I'm not looking for you to reinforce what I'm doing, I'm using this as a tool for teaching, and whether that totally undoes it, he says it interacts in a different way there than if he's just talking with it separate, so.
I feel like it's much just like any of your other social media algorithms, it's gonna feed you what it
Exactly
knows
what
you
you're
want
looking
to
for.
see and are interested in, what your eyes have ever hovered on, or,
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah, it stays, don't worry about that.
okay.
The board retreat that we did last week, it was great, I thought it was really good.
Yep,
It was
enjoyed
great.
it.
Very productive, very reflective, we could, I mean, I don't know, next steps wise, what we present for that, or honestly, I keep my notes with me, cause it was so fresh, but I don't know that we had a next step out of it, or anyone say if they saw, felt anything
We
different.
had some potential action
Yeah,
items.
we did have some.
but-
did? Oh, we
The liaison, I think, and it doesn't have to be today, but I
Yeah.
think putting that on the next step, or maybe
Yeah.
the next discussion item
Mhm.
explicitly, to say, talking through assigning liaison roles,
Yeah.
could be but it sounded like a main next step, and then the idea of the mentoring, I think is a little longer next step, but starting those conversations towards that, were too late to
I'm gonna
release
write it
that I
on
would
here so
remember.
that it makes me remember for the next
Yeah.
meeting. Okay.
Yeah, but we could wait and like do those things
Okay.
next time.
Okay. And then charter, I don't know, Sue or Mizu, if you wanna run off with that really fast, I'm gonna write this stuff down.
I mean, I just wanted it to pop back up on the agenda because, I still think it's, something we need to consider. And I think our time is getting shorter to make a decision. So,
Yeah, especially if we're to pull it off for like next school year.
Next school year, yeah. So, I don't really have lots, because we have done a lot of
We did a
research
lot of
on
the
it, we have a lot of
research.
information on it. The information that I feel like we don't have is a good assessment of like what it will truly take for us in terms of time. Not so much as a board, because I feel like, I don't know, that's something, if we decide to do it, we're
We
just
say no,
committing
we say go,
ourselves,
yeah.
but it would be nice to know how much time. But really what the ask is for Sue, Jaren, like Kay now, like whatever, whatever, that ask, because if we choose to proceed with it, we're asking them to take on starting something new, and, that means that it puts more pressure on the things they're already doing, or the other things they wanted to start that, so whatever. I don't have a good understanding of that.
I don't have a good understanding of what it costs too, because we're going into a budgeting cycle that we've already been told is gonna be less fun. So, that consideration, that's really the board has to talk
Yeah.
about that.
And to piggyback on that too, the biggest thing that kind of stood out to me, well, there was two things, right? One was, one of the main reasons to go charter would be for enrollment, and it sounds like we're not necessarily limited on where we recruit, although we do have to do inter-district stuff.
Yeah.
But the other thing that stood out to me was, the availability of grant funds to charter schools versus public schools. And so if we are going into a scarier financial time, we need to be really clear on what limitations going charter would do for our funding, because it was from that very first meeting with I forget her name, I'm sorry, she had said the mini grants aren't available, they don't fund charter.
Yeah, I did, that piece I did reach out to our charter counterparts, and they couldn't come up with a single funding opportunity that that was ever not available to them. So, as a charter district, I don't know if charter schools, I do think charter schools inside of larger districts might face more, not being able to get that money, but, I did follow up on those to say, and I also don't know if they're going for nonprofit funding, foundation funding at the same rates we are, but
But wasn't that
Even
part of it
Mackenzie
though,
has.
because like, if I remember correctly, in an unrelated thing, you had reached out
Yeah.
for some stuff, and the reason that the funding request was denied to your
Was
school was
because we were a
because you were a
charter.
charter. And that was to private foundations, that was to places that we ask for funding
Yeah.
from, for the things that we can't get. Cause as a little rural district,
Yeah.
we look really good on paper, but if charter's gonna be like, but never mind, not you,
Yeah.
that worries me.
yeah, And that's where I don't, that's where I'm saying, I don't know if it's cause charter school or charter district, but
Yeah, so
Could be.
just, that's all I mean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
since it's a
I mean, cause
discussion.
it was like the couple big ones that you two had mentioned.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That we would
yeah,
typically use.
like
Yeah.
Roundhouse.
That's why
houses.
that's why we suggested them to
Yeah.
you, and they would have funded that kind of thing in a heartbeat, and then they said, oh wait, but not
Yeah,
because
so
of
knowing
other.
the difference of if they would fund the district, I mean, yeah, we have
Yeah.
things that aren't available to us a lot just because we're a school inside of a district, which even then, I mean, our director came back from her recent charter schools meeting and said that funding is looking better for charter
Okay,
schools, but again, since
Yeah.
I'm a school and this is a district, I don't,
Yeah.
right.
And in the, like, federal climate right now, school choice is
Priority.
priority, and so charters at some point may actually be more available for money than not. Like,
Exactly.
it's one of those, like, does that help
I
situate
mean,
the spot?
I think it's
that's a
getting
good
better
point.
for them, if district-wise, and because we don't know the difference of how each of those places see it, you know, if district-wise is okay, I think it's getting better,
Yeah.
even, just because of all of, like what you said with the school choice stuff, like,
Will you send me, I don't remember which ones we sent you specifically, but will you send me which
yeah,
grants
yeah,
or
which
foundations
grants,
they
yeah.
were?
We can
Yeah.
start talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it, one of
The
one of them who I
grants that we
think
looked
it might
into.
be, yeah, one of them who I think it might be, I'm actually meeting with, like, in the next week, and so I'll, either way, whether it
Okay.
was that foundation or not, I'll ask them, like, how would this
Sure.
change our eligibility?
I'm thinking like Roundhouse, Ford Family,
Yeah.
Gray Family, and United Way, like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I know,
and I'll see which ones Darcy actually applied to.
yeah, some of those I know Mackenzie gets funding currently,
Yeah.
so like,
So like
I know that's not an issue,
Mhm.
and some of
Yeah.
them I don't know that, so,
Right.
Roundhouse is who I'm meeting with.
You said Roundhouse, Ford, United Way, and what?
I said Gray Family, they do,
Gray
they do
Family, okay.
education stuff too.
Okay, okay.
But yeah, and, okay, yeah, I mean, I think it's offset, I don't, like, and it's offsetting potentially in terms of like enrollment too, and I don't, so like, I do think we should check that out and make sure
Yeah.
that, but I think if we get one or two that say, no, we don't fund, you know, charters, that doesn't worry me so much.
Okay.
Like, or it doesn't, it's not enough to say, well, then hold up, we don't wanna do it.
So
Because ideally, we're hoping to get additional funding, you know, by making that decision too.
Yeah.
And so then, and keeping this on here and feeling like we're progressing, like, I know a couple things Sue and I can do to check out funding wise, like, we can do that homework wise over the next, before we meet again. And then like, when would dollar wise, like, how, you know, they're worried about budgeting wise, like, trying to like map it out so that we actually make a decision or
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
like, when.
What, and, sorry, finish that question.
No, well, I mean, I think you're headed down what I'm saying, like, just, like, when would we know if that's a safe decision we can make or not, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, we budget late in the year, so we're not
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
not like we have to say by you know, like in big districts, by January, you wanna be
Yeah.
figuring that out. We've got time, we go pretty late, but,
But by doing that, that just helps us make a later
Early-
decision as
yeah,
far
yeah.
as, I mean, even like
Earlier is
changing
better.
letterhead and,
so those kind of
names.
costs, yeah, it's hard, like,
I mean, I'm not worried about those costs, we're gonna do it, I don't think those are huge in the
Yeah.
end, I mean, it's a cost.
yeah,
It's
it's
just
like a,
whether we're
that
gonna
much,
be
yeah.
deficit in dollars enough that it makes it
Yeah.
ugly.
yeah. I'm gonna add something to it, cause I think we can figure the budget impact part out, and I do think, I mean, a lot of it's hypotheticals, it's like, well, if we get this many kids, then it offsets this, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
and just kinda naming like, well, how many do we think we can get, what would make it, how many kids would make it worth it? Do we think that's reasonable, like those kind of questions, and what is the cost of transportation if we're adding routes out? My worry is less cost and more personnel.
Yes.
Like, are there literally enough people to hire to run those routes, let alone affording them, right?
I mean, that's the transportation end, but there's also the academic end. Do we have enough people, are we gonna be able to pull people into our school district?
Yeah.
if we have more kids.
Yeah, and I mean, we run some pretty small class sizes
Mhm.
and I think we
So
have
we can
room
have
for
similar.
growth. I mean, we're maintaining at 160 right now, which is up 10, but those are spread across grade levels, so even, like, I don't think, staff might kill me if they heard this right now, but I don't think our staffing would change much between 160 and 190.
Yeah.
I would think,
Yep.
Assuming it's spread out across grade levels. But it could be that, cause we already get a higher number of IDTs coming in at middle high, and if we did this and then got all middle high, went up third, like, then I might need to shift some staff
But if it
over,
was
add
across
staff or
age groups
something.
enough, I would think anything you may need some EAs or something,
Yeah.
potentially, especially at the elementary level, depending on how many you have, you know, if you have to like
Yeah,
separate kids up, even if it's just because you need more
yeah.
recess patrol or whatever, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean.
But, yeah, we've got room for growth within a
Yeah.
pretty stable staffing, except for transportation. That would be the ad. I love that I can point at you.
I was gonna say, I'm like, well, look
Oh,
who's
I have
here.
questions.
Yeah. And then the other piece, I was gonna say something else and I lost. Oh, we talked last year about engaging, staff, students, and the community
Oh, yeah.
about this, and I feel like we
Yeah.
started the staff
Okay.
conversations, we got input,
Yeah, that could be
Um,
homework for the next couple months.
and, I do wanna raise one, I don't wanna lose sight of the one major change that came up about from staff, that, I don't know if it's a yes or a no, but I wanna name it, but before I go there, I wanna finish the thought. We talked about families specifically, but then community beyond our current families, and getting their input on what that is, and so I think in terms of timing, it's less, do we know the budget impacts, do we know this, like, I think those answers can kinda come with
Yeah, let's
plenty of
take the
time,
temperature
and in
first.
some ways, we're guessing anyway,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
But the time impact for me, Jaren, other staff is the, community engagement, we would, I'll speak for myself, I would want help organizing those from you all, and not, I don't know that I have the capacity to run
Yeah,
specific community engagements for that at the same time we're doing some of the, revitalizations, those
I
kind
mean,
of
that's a
things,
board,
so.
that's a board responsibility, and
Yeah.
we can,
Yeah.
we
yeah,
we would take that on. If we're asking the staff and our staff to do this, then we
Yeah.
have to help them.
Yeah, and I'm certainly willing to be present in it, it's the
Getting
logistics of
planning.
planning it
Yeah.
and doing that, start to add up pretty quick, so.
Mhm, yeah.
And then, do you wanna shoot a text out to Sarah really fast, so she has time to, like,
Oh,
Pop back
because
over.
we're getting towards the end of it, I was like,
Yeah.
we have a lot of Sarahs.
Yeah.
Remind me why.
the one for tonight,
Yeah,
tonight, Sarah?
Was she at the high school or is she over at the elementary?
She's doing football and volleyball right now, so.
And I'm
it's
seeing
fun.
the football players down here through the window, so I think they're at least down.
Oh, okay, at
And
least she's
volleyball's
here.
probably over right now.
one of the other things too, just, charter adjacent, is the charter school happening in Florence, and that impact on us, is trying to stay, I didn't get to go to the town hall or anything that they did over there, but, there was talk about the impact of the school, like they're not taking on kids with special needs, they're relying on the public school districts to do that. And the
Wow.
offset of that, yeah,
Just
so the
designing their
Mhm.
road and just the
Mhm.
rest of us have to.
So, I mean, there's some pretty major implications of that, and we also have some high need students, and so there'd be a potential influx. There's also, we should probably just keep that front of mind for discussion as well, but I'm more thinking that when we do, these town halls or start engaging the community, charter, since that word has been just like bubbling in our Siuslaw watershed, we'll need to be pretty informed about what's happening with that, cause there's gonna be questions about that charter school that are gonna, just gonna come up in these conversations.
Yeah.
And we can't say like, well, we're talking about us going charter, that's not gonna be a good conversation, so just, there's some pretty major implications. So the way it stands right now is, sounds like the charter school has agreed to just do 80% of their ADM, so that so that it like makes up for the fact that they're not gonna be doing this. But like, a lot of budgets at the school district, public school district levels, like, special education takes more than 20% of our budget, so it's not really a great offset, right? So there's some like stress that's happening, granted it's impacting the Siuslaw public school district a little bit more, but, we already did, our school numbers are already so impacted by what happens at Siuslaw. And then like with this third thing happening, you know, so we also just need to be thinking about what the changes in Siuslaw and the fact that they have a charter school, they're hoping to open, they got their Rite Aid building, or it's in escrow right now. You know, this is gonna be coming down the pike, whether we go charter or not, we still need to keep that part of the conversation in the front of mind.
Can I make a quick comment on the transportation aspect of a charter?
Maybe, Madam Chair?
Sure. We're open to whatever.
Just something to keep in mind, based on what I have overheard about Siuslaw Charter and whatnot thus far, and granted, I have not heard a lot.
Me
But
neither.
one of the things that they were very focused on was whether or not the amount of seat time the children were going to have on the buses would impact the total class time and how long a day that would make. So if they, like, Siuslaw students, some of them are on the bus for an hour and a half. So that's 3 hours added on to their class day. If you are going much further away, you know, you are starting them not at 6:30 in the morning, you may be starting them off, getting on the bus at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Is that starting their day and ending their day in a quality condition for, you know, mental, emotional, like food-wise, you know, sustenance? That was a big conversation topic that I heard multiple times. And I don't know much more than that, but I do know that that was.
But no, that's good for us to think
That is such a
about.
great consideration.
Yeah, because depending on where you guys might, where we might be transporting to, you know, if you think about Triangle Lake doesn't seem that many miles away, but in a 40-foot bus,
It's
you
long.
have to
We
go
know
30 miles.
stops
And then you add in the stops, each stop is on average, you know, 14 to 29 seconds long. Then you add in weather in the winter. You add in all these other considerations, slow traffic in the afternoon from tourists or people lost or whatnot, you know. How long do we really want those kids sitting on the bus? And at the same time, you can't shorten their classroom time either, you know.
Yeah.
And we are already a longer day.
Yeah, because we're 4 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
No, that's a good thing for us to keep on the list of thoughts, so thank you.
The thing I didn't say about staff, is with IDTs, we say, you know, attendance and behavior considerations, and we can say,
No,
we cancel your IDT if you're from outside of the district. If you're a charter school and you take a student, they are now your student, and so you take on whatever behavior attendance issue that you inherit through them, and so recognizing that we, I think staff were very considerate on how they named this, but recognizing that we already have a very high needs population, does that add more to that, or does it not? And so I wanna keep naming that. That didn't come up right away, but when it did, people were like, ooh, you know, and kind of thinking through that, so. I think everything else from staff was kinda like, eh, if there's, you know, it could go either way. I don't think anybody was like super pro or super against, but this was the topic that started to be talked about more.
Okay. So if we could go forward with engagement, if we decide, like, we can discuss next board meeting, but if we decide, then go forward with that, continue that community engagement, continue getting like, staff comments about like, here's potential impacts and all of that. And to kind of assess, then if we decided, ideally the best time for staff to actually put time into working on this, getting like checking boxes for all of the things that need to be done would be summer. Right? So like trying to get everything that we can lined up.
I think ideally we'd wanna make the decision
In the
early
spring.
spring for budgeting purposes.
No, I'm saying make the decision to go to do it even before that, if we come to that
Yeah, yeah.
decision, like if that's the result of our engagement.
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking about the time task on you, cause like you particularly are already a superintendent of an existing district and a principal
Yeah.
also. And
The plan part of that, writing it up, I did talk to Blaine and Brittany about it, and back when they each did it, there was federal funding connected, and so it was a longer, more robust plan, and they're kinda like, the plan can be as much as you put into it. And a fairly honest, like, if you wanna write a really robust plan, it's gonna take you a long time. If
Right.
you wanna just say we're a charter district, it's not gonna take you as long.
Okay.
And so,
and we already have some components that you might put into a charter plan.
that were
anyway,
already,
going
right, that are
and
written
everything.
and you're
Yeah.
consolidating, but it didn't feel like the writing of the plan was the biggest thing. For me, it's the engagement
Mhm.
leading up to it, up to the decision. And then those pieces of like, just the tediousness of like, I think it'll probably take the whole first year to be like, oh, that doesn't say charter on it.
Yeah, whoops, we
We're fixing
forgot
it,
that.
there we go. Or here's this other thing that,
Yeah.
gotta get different letterhead, and just like, all that
All the
small
weird
stuff
little
that
things.
is just annoying. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
super helpful.
Okay, well then, we'll work on like financially, what would we be allowed to get and not, and then, like Sue probably has things she can look into and ask, and I have people I can ask, and then I think collectively, like, I may just start emails of like, I guess I can't do emails, but I kinda want to, but I know, I'm gonna figure out what I can do, and then we can work on this engaging stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, okay, we gotta jump on a Zoom or something and talk about this.
If we like at least get an idea of when we wanna do them, it'll need to be after the first of the year because of the holidays and stuff. So that's why it's like, that shortens the amount of time we have to engage folks. So even if we just, as a board.
We try to have our engagements like in January,
just like let's
February,
do
but-
end of January, into February, so then if a decision is made, it's being made, March.
March, April,
Mhm.
okay,
for the piece you just said about, I wanna send emails,
yeah.
does it make sense to make a committee with two of you as lead, that you're consolidating information into like a Google Doc? Together, like, we've done that the first year, what were we doing? Updating something. And that's how it, Mary Ellen would bring back
Yeah, what was that?
something, and I think we were just redoing the vision
Yes, that
pieces,
was.
but
But it could just be like two of us, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and kind of sharing into there, and then that piece comes back as
Okay.
a share out, I don't know.
Sure, I'll get with
Something
Lisa
like
on
that, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any other public comments, Jaren? Okay, then I'd love if someone wanted to move to end it, so we can move to executive session. Oh, comments from the board, does anyone have any comments?
We can go to executive session
And then
and
come
come
back.
back out.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Cause we kinda have to anyway.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
All right,
Yeah.
Kay.
It was
Thanks,
pleasure
Jackie.
meeting
Nice to see you again.
Nice
Yeah, you as well.
to be, remember,
Yeah.
yes,
It's good to see you again.
good to see you again.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
We off?
I think you have to
So we get
say
the
the
very,
numbers.
we enter executive per ORS, whatever.
I
it
don't
is.
know what the ORS is.
It's on the sheet.
Oh,
We were
thank you,
somewhere.
I gotta turn the page, is why. Okay, okay, so, do I gotta say what time it is, do I gotta just say?
I think you just say we're going to.
Okay, so we're now moving into executive session for ORS 192.6602I. A lot of extras there. Okay.